So once you've unboxed your mobile cart with compressor that you've recently purchased from Flight Dental and the hand pieces that you should have in front of you the following boxes there. So in the first gray box here, you'll have a high-speed handpiece. So we're just going to unpack all of these and I'll explain to you what everything is inside the packaging. So you'll get a little water remover. So if you have a clog, you can use that to remove the water. Okay. And then the second box, you will have a contra-angle handpiece. This is a 1-to-1 contra-angle handpiece, followed by an air motor. The air motor will have a tubing connection if you want external water, as well as a oil dripper that is for lubricating your air motor using some oil mix. So it has a little dripper oil for oil lubrication. So that goes on top there. The last box will have a coupler. So the coupler, which has LED, will go together with your fiber optic handpiece. And then the last item here is your scaler. So your scaler, I've taken it out of the box, it will come in its own box. You have a scaler, inserts are included, you have inserts on there. Make sure you do use your torque wrench to tighten up and remove the inserts or the tips. Okay, so I have that out there. You have syringe tips, and you'll have yourself a lubrication oiling can and also a lubrication tip with it as well. In the contra-angle, there was also a lubrication tip there as well for that. So each item has its own lubrication tip. So this one's used for your high-speed handpiece. This is used for your contra-angle handpiece. This will be used for your air motor. So you can attach these to your oil spray can. So each lubrication oil spray can, you have to use the correct nozzle or adapter. So for your contra-angle handpiece, make sure you're using the contra-angle adapter. It'll go in right to the back of it, attach it, and then you'll squeeze and spray and lubricate that handpiece. And then you have your oiler spray. So this one is actually meant for oil that's more a viscous oil rather than a spray can oil. So you'll put this in a little squeezer bottle and you can spray it, squeeze it in there. But you can also just use this and lubricate the top head as well as your back end of your air motor here using the spray can. Your high-speed cable handpiece will use this little adapter that's included with this in that bag. You'll put this again on your cable spray can and you'll be lubricating it. After you put it into there, you'll spray it and you'll lubricate the handpiece. You need to lubricate your handpiece after every single use. We'll just turn on the unit. So all you need to do is plug in your unit. It's an electrical outlet. So I've done that already. I've plugged it into the electrical unit here, and we just need to have it turned on. So comes on, it'll pump up, and you'll have your lubrication unit. So once we have that turned on, we'll go through each individual control on your handpiece. We'll just wait for this to pump up. It should take about 30 seconds to get up to the right pressure before it automatically shuts off. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're going to connect each handpiece to your handpiece holder here. So you have your syringe. You're going to put your syringe in. You're just going to push down on that first, and then you slide your syringe in, let go, and now this is able to rotate. So you have your syringe. So we're going to set up your high-speed handpiece. So you're going to take your coupler first. We're going to connect it to your first handpiece tubing. Okay, so we're going to screw that in. Make sure it is tight. We need to make sure this is tight so there's no air leaking or water leaking from there. So again, your high-speed handpiece will go onto there, connected. Okay, The next handpiece tubing, we're going to connect our air motor. So we're going to connect our air motor. Again, line up your holes on your handpiece, right? And it fits in smooth. And then you're just going to turn it and tighten that up onto your air motor. Okay, so hand tighten. And then we're going to connect your contra angle handpiece onto your air motor as well. That goes on there. So there is a extra handpiece tubing there. Don't worry, this is just an extra one in case you want to add another high speed or a low speed air driven handpiece. The last slot is for your scaler. So the scaler, you'll see there's 2 dots. You just make sure you line up those dots there when you're pushing them in. Once you line them up, they're good. I have this scaler insert and the torque wrench on there to help protect yourself from any injury on that. So we've gone through your lubrication. You have different adapters that we provided to you to perform the proper lubrication on your handpiece. Make sure you do lubricate your high speed and your low speed before each use or after each use, and before you sterilize the unit. The scaler does not need to be lubricated. So these are all pre-adjusted at the factory for you. So once you have it out, these will be already adjusted for the proper air pressure. If they're not, you double check it. So the high speed should be set up for about 40 PSI. So you're going to be looking at your gauge here on the left side there to determine what the air pressure is. So it's already set up for 40 PSI. Your low speed, you want to set it up for about 30 PSI on there. Okay. It's a little bit low. Just make sure it's adjusted to the right configuration. But not adjust. It's a little bit low. We're just going to adjust it. So the way to adjust the air pressure for each handpiece was done underneath the tray here. So underneath the tray here, there are 3 adjustment knobs here. So they correspond to handpiece number 1, the far left, handpiece number 2, and handpiece number 3. So we want to increase the air pressure on your second handpiece here. So the way we're going to do it, we're just going to turn this adjustment knob. So you turn it counterclockwise to increase the pressure and clockwise to reduce the pressure. So again, I'm going to take the handpiece out of the holder and we're going to be looking at this gauge here. So we want to adjust our second handpiece here. We want to increase the pressure to about 30 PSI on your low speed handpiece, 40 PSI on your high speed handpiece. The scaler doesn't need any air adjustments at all. So they're all pre-adjusted. We're good to go. Okay. So I'm going to go through again now the various controls on your unit here. So on the front of your unit here, this is the on-off switch. So you'll turn this on. So this controls all the air and the water in your system. The water in your system. It'll control the water in your system. You need to turn that on to have the water bottle turned on. So you have water. You will have filled your water bottle as well. And then on the side here, we have, this is for purge. So this is to purge water out of your handpiece. And then you have water control, 1, 2, 3 water controls for each handpiece. Handpiece number 1, handpiece number 2, and handpiece number 3. The scaler adjustment is on the other side of the unit here. So on the other side of your unit, you have your control for water and your control for power on your scaler. This is your water bottle that we showed you earlier here. Make sure when you're with the water bottle, you make sure you turn off the switch here first before you disconnect your water bottle to refill or to fill it up. Okay, that has to go off first. So that back on. So once we're set up here, your scaler will also be operational. You just take it out of its holder and you step on the pedal and you'll have water and air coming out of it. And again, the adjustment for the water is on this side of the control and the pressure is on the air, power is on this side of the control. Okay. Last thing is your foot pedal. So on your foot pedal, the main pressure here is your control of your hand pieces. So you push this down with your hand piece, with your foot, And then this is controlling the water. So if you want water coming out of your handpieces, you flip it to the blue dot. No water, you flip it to the side there. This switch is for what we call chip air. So this blows air out of your handpiece without rotating your high-speed handpiece there. In terms of maintenance on your flight unit, we recommend that you just drain the tank regularly. You can drain it as a regular monthly maintenance. Drain the tank at the bottom of the tank there. So the way to drain the tank is simply at the bottom here. You will have a nozzle at the bottom here. So you will just turn the nozzle and drain the tank. And after use and build up condensation, you'll have water in the tank there that will come out of the tank.